Hey, what's going on? It's your man, Tim Jackson, Mr. Purpose on Demand, and this is the No More OGs podcast. I am so excited for today's episode. Man, we have a group of people in here who are doing some amazing things. They've been seen on Good Morning America. They've been in pretty much every publication talking about their debt-free journey, and now they have a course that teaches people how to start a cleaning business without ever having to lift a finger and clean a single thing. I've actually taken the course. I'm in the process of taking it now. It's a pretty dope course, and I look forward to getting my business off the ground. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you all Anthony and Jhanilka Hartzog.
Good. And you pronounced my name right, so that's good.
I ain't gonna leave lie. I cheated. What I did was I let you say it. So I took your course and you introduced yourself, and I was like, oh,
that's smart.
You know what
That's
I'm
smart.
saying?
No, that's good.
Smarter, not hard. Guys, do me a favor and just introduce yourselves to my audience for the people who don't know you.
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I started introducing ourselves as two Brooklyn kids from the projects who. I'll just start there. Two Brooklyn kids from the projects.
That's the introduction. You done?
Yeah, that's part of the introduction. But born and raised Brooklyn, New York. Been married for 6 years. Live in Dallas, Texas. We got a brand new baby girl, Alani Melanie Hartzog. Love her to death. Used to be a director at an IT firm. Recently retired from my 9-to-5 and working full time for my family, Faith, and that's it, man.
Yeah. So I'm Jhanilka. As you said, we're from Brooklyn, New York. I still work a 9-to-5. I'm a mental health therapist. I am licensed in New York and Texas. And yeah, baby girl 6 months, married 6.5. That's really it. That's who we are. Paid off $114,000 of debt in 23 months and run multiple businesses right now while maintaining my 9-to-5.
It's pretty dope because that's how I found you guys, you know, and that's what I know you from is getting out of debt. You guys have a really, really dope story of teaching people how to get out of debt. And I did a whole campaign called, Get Out of Debt. I'm not going to say the full name of it, but that's pretty dope that you all took your time, effort, and energy to teach people about getting out of debt.
A debt-free story. That's how, we should have wore our shirts. Because we have shirts that kind of have that in it too.
Free as fuck.
Yeah. That's what it says.
So we had $114,000 of debt, and we didn't know that until we got married. We knew we had debt. She went to a private school, and her private school was
for a master's. It was about $70,000.
It was $70,000. Mm-hmm. And I got my undergraduate from University of Albany, and my joint was like $20,000-$30,000. We moved down to Dallas, Texas. My whole thing was, all right, we moved down for my job. So we're from Brooklyn, New York. We moved down for my job, and everybody's like, yo, you just moved down to Texas. You got to buy a house. You got to get the car because you on the road. You got to get the white picket fence and all of that. And I'm like, let's cut the shit. Let's figure this out together. Yeah. So we combined our finances, and we realized that we were massively in debt as a married couple.
Yeah, 114, but it's not. We didn't just jump right in because I was like, so what? Like that's what most people got. We're paying our bills. We're gonna pay it off when we pay it off. Me working, I don't remember what the Obama program is, but what the field that I work in, after 10 years of working consecutively, you can get your debt paid off. So I'm like, ain't no rush for me.
Based on your career, yeah.
Based on the career that I'm in, and so I'm like, what's the reason we're gonna do this? So he kept listening to stories, listening to podcasts, and we were hearing different stories. And I was hearing people that made way less than us paying off their debt. And I'm like, well, maybe we can pay it off. Maybe there's something we can do.
And a lot of those stories we listened to weren't people that wasn't black people, honestly.
No.
So I'm listening to white people. I'm listening to all these other, races, nationalities, and all the stories are just them.
Yeah.
And then I heard this one lady who lived in the projects, and she called up the show, and she's like, "Yo, I'm in the middle of paying off my debt," and the guy's like, "Oh, why don't you sell your car?" She's like, "Well, my car got bullet holes in it," and he's like, "How does your car have bullet holes in it?" She's like, "Well, I live in the projects, and I'm working to pay off my car, and I can't sell it because there's bullet holes in it." I'm like, these are stories about our people that I want to hear more about.
You can relate to that, huh?
Yeah, because we're from the projects.
We are from the projects.
I've seen guns,
yes.
I've held guns, I've seen people get shot, I've seen people get killed. I'm not saying that's the life I want to live, but I'm familiar with it.
Yeah.
So I want to hear more of those stories. So you said you recognize us from those stories, and that's when we started talking about our story about paying off our debt.
Yeah.
And we started with just budgeting managing our finances
budgeting,
a little bit better.
and raising our income. That's the biggest thing we did, as opposed to what most people teach. We raised our income.
No, it's kind of dope that you say that, because I used to teach a concept called increase by decrease. Essentially, if you decrease your output, you can increase what you bring in. And so, a lot of people don't consider making more money as an alternative. Most of the times, if they do consider it, they talk about like going to go get another job. And my thing is, you can make more money by essentially decreasing your output.
So we also say that too, like just cutting back on your expenses. Yeah. But for us, at least, we couldn't cut back as much as we could bring in, basically. So we cut back where we could, but we still wanted to go out. We still wanted to enjoy and do those things. So raising our income tremendously really helped us.
Yeah, we turned into a game. Like you said, you saved that money. We picked up another job, and it was like, all right, all this money that we're bringing in from these side hustles that we're doing, how much money can we make quickly to pay off this debt? Mm-hmm. And it became a game. We started seeing like $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 a month. Yeah, it's like, yo, let's just start throwing this towards this debt. And then that's when it really started picking up.
And budgeting too.
And it's funny too, because then once you start paying off a ton of debt, through your snowball, then once everything's paid off, you got like an extra $5-6 grand left over a month. It's like, damn, I'm making all this extra money. Like, what am I going to do with it?
Right. That's why I say it was funny, because we're like, what do we do with this extra money? It's like, no, it's your money. It's not really extra. You just was giving it away to paying off your debt.
You just gave yourself, $36,000 raise just by paying off that debt.
Yeah.
Like literally a year. Mm-hmm. No problem.
Mm-hmm. Now, you guys have been everywhere. I mean, you guys have been on Good Morning America, Black Enterprise, everything. And it's like, you guys are actually doing the work to get on these publications, and a lot of people can't say that.
Yeah, Black Enterprise, you money, and this is before I knew that you even could pay for these things. I just found that out last year. I didn't know that you could pay to be on these sites, and I'm like, oh, no, man, you can't. I don't know about you can pay to be on Good Morning America.
No. I think everybody watching that just missed that flex. Right? I didn't know that you could pay to be on this, which means that you didn't pay to be on.
No, because some people nowadays, they probably would think like, oh, they did that. Oh no, ma'am, this is like 2018, 2019. They came to us.
Say they called me.
They called us. And they called me. Good Morning America. I'm like, no way.
Yeah. The next day they was at the house.
Prove it.
The next day they were at
the next day.
Yeah, the apartment actually is where we were. Yeah.
I left my job. Like, y'all got something to do.
Right.
So let's talk about the importance of maintaining your integrity, because I'm really funny about who I interview or bring on this podcast, because I joke sometimes about not wanting to meet my heroes, because when I meet a lot of people in person, and I've met a lot of people that have blue checks or in the limelight, like they're not who they say they are. But if you could, I want you guys to talk about why it's so important to remain authentic in who you are and what you believe in while putting out an amazing product.
I talk about integrity all the time, because I don't want my name to be attached to anything that's not positive or influential for our people. Mm-hmm. And I recently stopped drinking because I tweeted about this. I recently stopped drinking because I've realized there was no positive impact for me and my family. It could only be negative connotations that came. And I'm not against drinking, but I just felt like there'd be more harm than good for that.
I'm not going to leave you out there to dry on the drinking thing, because, I recently stopped drinking too, and I hadn't had a drink like all year. And one day I went out to eat with my wife, and I had some to drink, and I could barely even finish it. And in fact, it made me super sick. And that day I was like, man, if my body rejected it immediately, right? And I said, well, damn, like, if this is how it works with having a drink, just imagine how rejecting bullshit in your life can change your life completely.
You start rejecting those negative toxins, it changes your whole mindset. Like now I'm on this, like I listen to a lot of podcasts and a lot of Eric Thomas, and they talk about like these 5 pillars. They talk about faith, finances, fitness, family, and freedom. Like that's the lifestyle that we want to live, and that's the lifestyle I think we strive for every single day.
And that could be a New Yorker thing.
It could be a bad thing, yeah.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it could be a New Yorker thing, because I think we're very straight up and to the point. And I just realized in life that no matter what you do, you can't satisfy everyone. So that's my. I'm like, somebody's gonna argue that the sky is not blue. They're gonna argue you down. If the sky, you gonna go outside and say the sky is blue, somebody be like, no, it's not. It's really not blue. It's teal. And that's how I feel about everything. Even if I can be positive, it doesn't matter what I do. You either decide to rock with me or us, or you decide that no, they're too much for me. I don't rock with them. So I'm always be myself from Brooklyn, New York. So that's why I always lead with, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I live in Dallas, but
hey, people from Brooklyn always tell you that they're from Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, New York is in general.
Everyone from Texas knows somebody with a Texas tattoo, right?
Oh yeah,
you know
exactly.
The Texas flag, I don't even know what the New York flag looks like. I could draw the Texas flag if I wanted to.
Yeah, that thing is everywhere.
So let's talk about generational wealth. I like the fact how you guys are always talking about building generational wealth. I was watching reading your Twitter the other day, and you were like, I think you guys were out of town. You were like, my daughter's husband should thank me.
we was in Cancun. We was in Cancun when you tweeted that.
I was like, man, this guy is hilarious.
Off the walls.
You know what I'm saying? She's 6 months old, and her husband should thank me. Man, I died. I'm like, what inspired that, bro?
So we was in Cancun, and the conversation
legacy.
was about legacy.
Last names.
And I said, we got a daughter, and then somebody was like, well, don't you guys want a son? I was like, yeah, I'd love to have the son so that he could have my last name. He's like, well, the daughter can have your last name too. And I was like, but until she gets married. Too. I said, until she gets married.
And I said she could hyphenate it. You was like, it's not going to be the same.
It's not the same because now that's his family. Mm-hmm. But I said, you know what? If our daughter is strong enough to maintain our family's last name, then we did right as parents. I said,
that would do wrong if she take the other person's name though.
I said he's gonna have to take on her last name.
Exactly. Yeah. I said she's strong
enough conversation.
To maintain a family legacy. And she's like, you know what? You need to take my last name.
And the guys were like, you're crazy.
They said I was crazy.
They're like, what are you talking about?
Sons. They're like,
no. They had girls. They're like, you're crazy for saying that though, because they're thinking about how they think.
I would just say the same thing. He was like, take my last name. I'm like, no, I'm not taking your last name.
Yeah, I would hyphenate my name. If I had my mother's last name, I would hyphenate it. It's not. Exactly. But I have my I have my dad's last name. But if I had my mother's family last name, because I'm so close with them, I would have hyphenated it. Yeah, no, but I don't.
Listen, and that's why, listen, I come from the projects. We both come from the projects. I was on the 4th floor, she was on the 6th. And we had totally different lifestyles growing up. Yep. I was in the projects, that's all I knew. Mm-hmm. She was traveling the world. Mm-hmm. And
were you military or something?
No, my family is from Panama. So we're they're first generation Americans. So I used to always go to Panama every summer to visit my grandparents.
My reunions happen every 2 years.
Yeah, we're in like Jamaica, London. We're all over the place. Yeah.
And she's given me a lifestyle that I never would have had growing up because I never traveled. And my first time out the country, I was 25.
Yeah, and I was like, what do you mean you don't have a passport?
Let's talk about that because I feel like it's extremely important to travel. And in fact, my son was 4 months old the very first time he rode on an airplane. And, my daughter is going to be traveling at the same age, literally. Like, I need you guys to speak to the importance of that because when I say it, sometimes I feel like, people look at me like, oh, you were in the military. Of course you travel. But like, talk about how important it is to get out of your environment, specifically at a young age, because had I not traveled, like my life would not be the same at a young age. Like I saw the world differently. Like, can y'all speak to that for me, please?
So it's mind blowing to me when I hear people say that they've never been out of their state. I think because I've always traveled so much and I'm like, you've never been out of your state? Like what's happening? And you said you had a conversation at the barbershop that somebody was like, what's happening in these other countries that's not happening in America? And you were like, what are you talking about? But for me, I think it's just culture. The culture differences that is out there, and I know friends out here, like in New York, we have something called Hasidic Jews. I don't know if you know what that is, but some people say they look like Abraham Lincoln, where they have the hat and curly hair. I have a friend out here, 30 plus, she's never seen a Hasidic Jew, and so she saw it on Netflix. She's like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "It's just
Dallas. We have black, white, and Mexican."
Well, exactly. That's my point.
That's the foods we have,
and that could be it. That New York is a melting pot, which is why I love it so much too. But just getting out and seeing different cultures and seeing what's out there, the world is so big. Our home is just so small. We're small minded wherever we are, and even with us leaving New York is a big difference from New York to Dallas. Mm-hmm. So I would never have been an advocate of leaving your hometown, but now that we have, I definitely would be, because I think that we wouldn't be out of debt, we wouldn't be having all these businesses if we still lived in New York. So just
our own way.
Yeah, it's just so much out there. The culture changes, just knowledge, food, everything. It's just, you got to see the world.
If I'm around the same people every day, I'm going to be the same person. I'm never going to change. I'm never going to inspire this. I'm never going to see more. So when we moved out of Dallas, we were away
from New York.
When we moved out of New York, we were away from everyone we grew up with. So we had no choice but to expand our minds and change what we were thinking about every single day.
Yeah.
So we went from, brunch, partying and drinking Friday, brunch Saturday, brunch Sunday, which is fantastic. But you get to a certain point, we need to do more. So we moved to Dallas. It was like, we don't have that same environment. So now what are we going to do on Friday nights, Saturday nights, Sunday nights? and we started thinking about life, family, and then
Yeah.
have a conversation around debt. It's like, how can I pay this off? So you see how that transition starts to change by leaving our environment. So that's huge. That was a huge change for us.
Yeah.
It's. I always tell people, I encourage people to leave. Like if you're from somewhere specifically like a small town, like
they gotta go.
You have to.
They gotta go to college. That's what I said in regards to college. Where he says, like, I was like, if my child, before we knew it was happening, girl, wants to go to college out of state, go ahead. He's like, no, Texas has enough colleges in state. But I'm like, just go. You need just
expensive.
I'm like, but
you said
explore.
You do it at them colleges.
But I'm like, explore, like, get away, like, have your child go away. It's just a game changer, I think.
It is a game changer, and like for me, going to the military was a game changer.
Yeah,
right? Because not only was I able to get out of my environment, but I was able to meet people.
Right. You just hear different things.
All right, so let's get down to the business. Like the reason I have you all here, the main reason is about. Essentially, I want you all to talk about your course, the cleaning course. I'm actually taking it right now. It's a really dope course. What I love about it is that you guys don't really mix your words in the course. You're straightforward. It's not a long, boring course. You break it down to like really simple modules for anyone to grasp. You actually show your mistakes, which a lot of people don't show mistakes. They'll tend to charge you on the back end. Hey, we got another course on which the mistakes we made. But like, I want you guys to talk about that. Like either one of you all jump in and let's tackle, like tell my audience about your course and just some of the details about it, because I feel like it'll be beneficial to someone's life if they actually take advantage of it.
I'll let you go ahead. You want to start it off?
Okay.
And I'm on my phone right quick because we literally have a cleaning business in Dallas, Texas, which is where we are right now. And I want to pull up some numbers right quick. So we have 9 cleanings today that are happening right now in Dallas, Texas. Because we started with just one cleaning a day.
Yeah.
And we're not, we just talked about this. Like we aren't those people that, you hear all these stories about, I started this, I don't do it anymore. Now I just teach you how to do it. No, we're literally running. We still have our cleaning. I'm literally looking at the cleanings today on my phone. We have 9 today. So we're still actively in the cleaning industry as we're teaching this stuff.
Yep.
So you're the customer service person, right?
I am.
Used to be. Not no more.
I used to be because we have an operations manager.
So you have an operations manager?
Yeah, we have an operations manager in place.
Stunned.
We onboarded her like right before
this week.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can
Let's
see
do that.
that.
Wait, hold that up real quick, man.
I don't know.
Stop moving right there. You good right there. Don't move no more.
42 this week. Active cleanings this week.
Yeah.
42.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we call a flex.
You see these people all the time. Like, we're actively still in this industry. So where did it start from? I just heard a story about a kid who was in college and he started a side business to pay off some debt. Yeah. And I reached out to him. I was like, yo, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I have a cleaning business. Or he was doing laundry or something at the time. And
he was making $10,000 a month.
Making $10,000 a month.
That's what you were like.
I want to learn more about this. He gave me like some minor things to implement. I'm like, I'm gonna go deep into this. And the deeper I got, the more I learned about this industry. And I was like, yo, if we don't have to clean houses and we outsource the work, how much can we grow this to?
Right. But when we started out, this was our first business. So imagine your first business, how things went. People were like, well, what were your goals when you started? And we're like, we was just vibes. There's no goals. It was just, all right, we don't know what we was doing. I mean, yeah. So we paid for someone to do our LLC. Now he does it with his eyes closed. Like, that's how we didn't know anything about the business, but we were getting in. I know, but we didn't know that. That's our first business.
I paid my friend to do it.
But we were just getting into the business. And when he first brought the idea, I said no. Then he brought it back with more information. And then we executed it within a month time.
So let me ask this: with couples being in business, like one person's going to want to take risks, one person's going to say no. Like, who's the one who's like, oh, we can't do this. It's not going to work.
Oh, I say we can't do it all the time.
Yeah, I'm a risk.
He's a risk taker all the time.
But we take
every business
risk.
is because of him.
Our risk tolerance has grown based on our experience, which I think is very important. Which is why we started the cleaning business is a very low cost startup.
Yep.
So if you're risking $1,000, you could lose $1,000. Let's say worst case scenario, you make no money in this industry. You risk $1,000.
But the knowledge that you're getting,
we risked $1,000 and we made over $1 million. That ROI is ridiculous. We put $1,000 into this business and we never put money back into it ever again. And it's grown to $1 million business.
Yep.
So when we first started, our risk tolerance was a little bit lower.
A lot lower.
I'd say it's grown a little bit.
It's grown. I've expanded it more since we've been in the business and just hearing more and learning more, honestly, just learning more about it.
I mean, because speaking from a risk standpoint, me personally, I can't speak for anyone else, but I made more money in my risk and my failures than I have ever made in my successes, because then I learned exactly what not to do.
What's the cost of you not doing this?
And that's the challenge too. Is like I'm so fearful of. I think back sometimes, like, imagine if we didn't take this risk. Imagine if I would have said I wouldn't have came back the second time. At the first time she said no, I'm like, we would not be where we are today. We would have not have impacted the people we would have impacted or changed these lives.
Hey, man, we made it impacted with the debt.
Maybe a different way.
Yeah, and the debt payoff.
We would have made it sometime.
We would have made it some way. You never know.
If it's meant for you to happen, God's gonna make the way for it. But I'm like, imagine if we never would have took that risk of the $1,000.
You had that mindset like me, like what would have started sooner, right?
Oh, after that, you think about, imagine we started 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But you start when you're supposed to start.
So take us through like the first 6 months of the business. You sold your wife on it. You know, you're going in. Things are going good. Things are going bad. Like, walk us through that process.
Our first cleaning that we had, the person we hired didn't make it to the first cleaning, so we had to find somebody. So that was already like, okay, a headache. We started the business in November, so 2017, right? So August 2018, so that's, I don't know, 10 months or so. 10 months, we were like about to give up.
Really?
Yeah, we were like, this is slow. Is it worth it? We're getting more bad, reviews than positive, or at least that's the way it feels, at least, because the bad usually outweighs the good. And we're like, should we? And he's like, well, let's at least do it for a year. Like, we're not losing money, but we're just not growing the way that we may want to grow. So we weren't losing because we weren't putting any money into it, and it was growing a little bit. But even then, we didn't even have an accountant looking at our books, so we just really didn't know how much money we're making. We just say like, the sales are low. When I tell you this is our first business.
The bank account that we had, we wasn't touching it. So it's becoming its own nest egg at this point. Now, the money from the cleaning business is starting to go back in. And it's becoming its own little nest egg.
Yeah, but it just felt like it just wasn't excelling, right? So this is August 2018. September 2018. Go ahead.
Before we get to September, what happens
in August?
This is our first year in the business. What are you doing during the summer? You're traveling. So what happens to your home? You're not there. So what don't you need in your home?
Clean. Yeah.
So people are traveling. And we didn't realize the cycle of what happens in that business.
No.
You started learning the industry norm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, you shouldn't start a trucking company in December like we did.
Are you still in a trucking company now?
I invested in trucks at one point in the game. I'm not going to crap on the guy who I went into business with, because he's a really good guy. But the blueprint didn't work out for us because it just wasn't a good blueprint. And it required, a lot of money from one particular investor. And when that investor folded, the business folded. But then I also had to learn, like, a lot of the things about trucking that people don't teach you online when they try to make it look glamorous. Like a lot of, trucking is just a hard business to be in. It's real grimy, and a lot of people don't talk about that. But what I learned was that with the right blueprint, if you follow a blueprint that's actually productive, then you can do well in trucking or any business. And that's one thing about your business that I like, is that your blueprint actually, works across industries. You could probably apply it to trucking, actually.
That's exactly what it is for trucking, though.
That's why I said no.
The same blueprint that we have for our cleaning business is the same blueprint we were going to use for trucking. And I said,
it's like finding contractors.
I said, this could work for the cleaning business. This could work for any industry. You just got to figure it out.
And I said,
we're not going to go to the truck. We're not going to go to the trucking.
Okay.
We stuck to the cleaning business.
We said no. He got an LC and everything for this truck, and I said no.
I turned it into a car rental business.
Yeah.
And we did that too.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a guy who can.
We ain't doing it. We don't need the guy. We ain't doing it.
So I want to talk about the importance of learning what you need to learn right before your breakthrough, because you guys talk about like a seesaw effect and how things go up and down. Like, what were some of the things that you had to learn on the way to your breakthrough, and how you were able to apply those things to the business to sustain you so that you could scale up?
We always say, just continue looking for good people. Continue looking for contractors is the hardest part of this business. I mean, with any job, you gotta look for good people, right? Good workers are hard to find. Everywhere you go. At your 9 to 5, at McDonald's, wherever you go, good workers are hard to find. And it's the same thing in this industry. No different.
One of the things that we didn't do is we'll find somebody. And it's like a seesaw effect, because you got too many cleanings, not enough contractors, or too many contractors, not enough cleanings. So we said we would find a contractor and we focus on the cleanings. And then we get too many cleanings and not enough contractors. So now in the business, now that we have an operations manager, we are always hiring. No matter how many cleanings we got, we are always hiring. She's always interviewing. We're always putting applications out there.
Yeah.
So now if somebody falls off or they come back on, we always have enough contractors to do the work.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things that seesaw effect when you first start. You're trying to figure out how many actually works for you.
I want to talk about community. This whole No More OGs is a community, but in relation to your course and why it's so important for people who take your course to join the community that you guys have, because you offer a course and then you offer a community. And a lot of times, in the world we live in, people are like, well, they're just trying to sell me something. But like the community is what's going to sustain you, and it's just going to keep you going and keep you afloat. Like, can you all speak to the importance of like being a part of an actual community that teaches you exactly what to do, how to do it, when to do it, why to do it, so that you can, receive the results that you're looking for?
I mean, just being around like-minded people in general changes the game for you, helps you to see what's possible. And so in our community, which we really love, it ranges for people that's been in the business 2 years, 1 year, 2 months, 2 weeks. So
20 years.
Yeah, so it's just a variety of people in there that are doing the same thing that you do, and it just helps you to see it's possible even more. Because you may take our course and maybe be like, oh, it's a one-off. That's just them, right? But when you join a community with 250 plus people, it can't be just us, right? So I think that support, when they ask their questions, when they're commenting of like, this is happening to me, what do you do there? And people are commenting back is a game changer. Like now it's grown to the point that we really don't need to comment, because people are just responding back right away, and we check in. I'm like, that's exactly what we would do, But sometimes people just want that. What do you say? Like security, like accountability, and want to make sure that they're doing the right thing. Assurance. That's assurance. That's the word. And so that, and it's a self-paced course. But I mean, once again, our business come from him. He's like, I think we should do a community because people still have some questions or just want that assurance. I'm like, I don't know. Who's gonna want to talk to us? Like whatever.
We got students who are doing like $20,000 a month. They've been in the industry, they started right when we launched the course, and they're doing amazing. They just there just for the camaraderie. We got students in there, and we'll be on IG Live, and I'm like, those are my coaches talking. We won't even be talking about the cleaning, but talking about the family. Look at my coaches; they're over here just preaching, sharing the game.
Yeah.
And like when you build those people who like stand up for you, like look at people who comment on the ads, like yo, this is a scam, and like nah, this is my results right here. This is not a scam.
You don't even have to fight your battles.
Right.
They'll be in the comments. They'll be in the tweets
on our IG lives, our webinars. Yeah,
we'll do a webinar and like, oh, this is a scam, this is fake, and they're like, no, I'm actually in the community. Here's my results. Here's my screenshots. I'm like, you heard it from them first.
Yeah. So that goes back to me saying it ain't for everybody. You think it's a scam? Go about it. Go about your business, brother. Go about your business, brother.
Facebook, I said I ain't for everybody, and everybody for me. Like that's
life. That is literally like, anybody don't like Jesus. I mean, what it is. What it is. Everybody don't like Beyonce. Come on now. It's a no-brainer. You gotta like Beyonce. So that's my point. That you can't please everybody. Yep. So we know that we do our part. I'm like, God, no, I'm not a scam artist. That's what I said.
You know
what I mean? Yeah, He knows what I'm doing.
We have our baby, we got our life, we have our mother. Like we have too much invested into who we are as people outside of social media. So we bring it to social media, and you put these titles or you start saying these things you know nothing about us. Yeah, it's harmful in a way.
That's just the fear talking.
Yeah, it's harmful in a way.
I used to have a problem because I used to think social media was real life. And so I would come at people like, hey, where you at? Let's have this conversation face to face.
I'm blocking you. I'm moving on.
Yeah. It's not worth the energy.
Right, so let's talk about celebrity, right? Y'all know I can't stand celebrities, but I feel like people like yourselves, people like me, need to replace, the people that we call celebrities with real people who are actually doing what they say they're doing. And I gotta ask you, because I've experienced this myself, like what's it like when you go places and people recognize you, at the movies, when you're traveling, when you're on vacation? Like, tell me what that's like and tell me how you're dealing with that, because you all have a pretty known name and people definitely recognize who the Hartrimony is.
Your question, we were at a restaurant, I don't know, I think it was last year, and somebody was like, oh, you're the Hartrimony, right? And I'm like, huh? I was going to the bathroom. Yeah. So I'm like, okay. And then at the airport the other day, somebody just yelled out, Hartrimony! He's driving his car. Oh, he said Anthony. Yeah. He's driving his car. I'm sure he couldn't say my name. And we're like, huh?
Y'all are not like the celebrity type.
No.
Y'all are like people that I could see in a Target or Walmart and come
Oh, we love Target.
And I'm gonna have my head tie on too. So.
So is this still kind of weird to y'all, or are y'all used to it now?
It is a little weird though, and then even sometimes when we speak to people and they're like, "I've been following you for so long. How's Alani? How's this?" And it reminds me of like, I need to watch what I put online because y'all too in my business. No, I know, but I posted. So I'm saying I gotta watch what I put online because people. It feels like they know like too much, so it is weird sometimes. Of just we're thankful, like okay, yeah, happy to meet you. I've never experienced like that. It's been negative that somebody has come up to us.
Think
but
about from this perspective, we're talking about no more OGs, and I'm 36, so I'm a little bit older, but pre social media, I left college right when Twitter and Facebook were
blowing up.
It started
Facebook
getting weird when I'm in classrooms and people are tweeting about like I'm an alpha, so we were doing programs. People are talking about us in our face, but
not like
so
on social media.
It was really weird when I was growing up in that out of the social media realm and kind of getting back in it. But I think if as long as we stay positive and we stay influential in a positive light, I won't ever feel a way about anyone coming out and just showing us love.
Because it's kind of a catch-22 because, you definitely want to expose people to new things, but then there's also a level of privacy. For me, though, it's important to create more people who can create wealth, if that makes any sense. Like my goal is to create 100 millionaires by the age of 45, right? I feel like within our culture, there's always one person who made it out. And that's just something that I want to, just distinguish or extinguish, as quickly as possible because it makes it hard on us. It makes it hard on the responsible person in the family who made it out. Like, why can't we have everyone in our family, or why can't we have multiple people in the family who make it out, so to speak, or who are financially stable so that they can provide resources to their community? And so it's a catch-22 for me. I don't really care for the attention too much, but I feel like the more I talk to people and the more I get to meet different people, I can help people create the wealth that they need to create in their family so that they won't be so dependent on, other systems or other factions. Your thoughts. What do you think?
That's his philosophy as well, bringing everybody along. I'm indifferent about it.
The more impact
things behind mindset, but
leave the niggas.
If you want it, I'm gonna give you everything.
That's the way I feel. I'm like, you can't force it on. Yeah, you can't force it on people.
I do a little bit.
But
of
he be trying to force it on people.
I'm like, the more influence, impact, and income we have, the more we could give our families. Like, so I'm like, if we make more money and our friend is a fashion stylist, hey, she literally picked out the outfit for us, and I'm like, yo, how much we got to pay? She's like, oh, I'll do it for you. Like, no, this is what you do. I want to pay you for that. Well, I don't got a business. Well, you have a business now or some form of it. So if we can make more money and we can bring our people along, create more impact, influence, and income for them, like that's the goal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my goal. And she's like, you can't bring everybody.
And that's why I feel.
And I understand both sides of
Let's
that.
talk about that.
I do understand that you got to leave some people behind. Like everybody can't go. And I always joke and say, whenever you start doing dope stuff, there's two people that hop in line first to come after you. It's really needy people or scammers. And you just got to leave people behind.
Oh, the sob story. There's always a sob story. And I'm like, I don't care.
I'm like, babe, you gotta get it. She's like, we don't really care.
I'm just like,
because everybody has a story.
That's my thing. That's my thing. I have a story. It's just because I didn't say it don't mean that it ain't happening. I'm serious. So I can't always, just go to people assuming because I said a story that you're going to give me something for free or do this, that, and the other. Now, am I sad about some stories? Absolutely. But sometimes it's just like, this don't feel right. This don't even feel right. That's the way I feel about it.
Trust your gut, not your heart, right? The heart attacks and the gut filters through the bullshit. So you take that philosophy, man, you'll be able to tell when a person's trying to get over on you,
And I lead with that, and I'm almost always right? Most of the time.
I can always tell if somebody's, really about their life based on the types of questions they ask. Like if the first thing they say is, well, how quick can I make my money back? Just like, why do you want your money so quick? Like, why can't you work? Like, why can't you embrace the concept of having to work? Like, I'm not going to show you something that's a scam that's going to BS you. Like, but typically the people who have that mindset without applying the work ethic are the people that are going to always waste your time. And those are the red flags that I can spot,
Oh, how quick can I make my money back?
What
business can you make your money back so quickly?
No, profit margins are okay. It's that question. How fast can I make my money back? Because I don't know you. I don't know your resources.
Yeah, I don't know you at all.
Nothing about you. And that's the first question.
But even when the first question is, what's the profit margin? When you show like, oh, we did 60,000, it says, but what's your profit margin? So you just check it. You try to check me. You're trying to say like, okay, but that's not enough. So even if I made $5,000, is that enough? Even if I made $2,000, what are you making from that?
It's
just like kind of like they're trying to check you, and I'm like, I don't need to answer that question.
It's that contrarian mindset. Like, no matter what I say, they're going to find something wrong. So my thing is, why would I even entertain you? Like, it's not for you. So just move on. Like, I think we as people need to be able to say that more often instead of trying to convert people to see our point. Like, no, I'm not for you, players. So just keep it moving. You can talk shit either way it go.
Right, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Man, I'm not for you.
I had that on social media, and it was probably my first and only interaction with somebody where I was like, I knew them on not a personal level, but I knew them on social media, and I felt like we had a connection. And then they showed me who they are, and I was like, I had a feeling that you was like this. I didn't want to believe it. I was like, now we just done. So you was waiting for this moment, and you just showed me exactly what I knew before. So
yeah, the people that find the problem and the solution. Okay, so let's talk about the pros and cons of being in business with the person that you're married to. Pros
and cons. I got a con. It don't end.
It don't end.
It don't end. The business with this day and age of building a brand and business. It's just hard to separate it because it's like anything we do can be content. So the phone is always going, there's always something happening. So it feels like it doesn't end. Like work doesn't end. And I'll be telling them, I'm like, you got to put that phone down.
You got to be very intentional.
You got to be intentional about it. That's a con. I don't always need you to make money. That's my response.
So we'll be very intentional about like, all right, Alani goes to sleep at 7 o'clock now. Like, all right, 7 o'clock, everything's done. And so now we get focused on ourselves. We watch TV. We'll eat dinner.
Yeah.
And we try to make those moments very intense. When we eat dinner, there's no phones. We're sitting like her mother taught her that.
Yeah. I couldn't be at the table with no phone.
36 years old. I put my phone down in her house. We're sitting there. We're having a conversation.
Yeah.
This is the way she grew up. This is the way her mom grew up. And this is the way we're bringing our family up. So that is a pro and a con. You have to be very intentional, but cutting it off. And I would say the biggest pro would be you are in life with someone that you're also in business with. And I think that is the biggest pro because we have the same goals in mind. We have the same intentions.
It's for us.
It's for us. It's for our family. It's for our legacy. So there is not anything I have to worry about on her being shiesty or behind my back or cutthroat. This is family.
Yeah.
And we are actually our next episode is about that too, right?
That's launching?
On the podcast. About running your business. Couples running their business as a family or running their family
as a business. But also just knowing, because I don't think that every couple should be in business together either, though. And that's not shady at all. You got to know yourself. You have to know yourself, though. I don't know how many people are honest with themselves to say that, but I think that we know each other. We balance ourselves well, so that's a pro as well. No whole nother podcast. We coming back. We come back for that one. But no, we know each other well, and we're able to balance each other, and we feed off of our strengths as well. So that's a pro also. Like, with the customer service, and he does the IT, the tech part of it, because we just know what works and meshing it together. So
that's deep, because I had to realize that even within my business, when my wife worked with me, that I'm super hard to work with. And, some couples shouldn't just work with each other. Not to say that we can't, but I can honestly admit that I ran my wife off from the business because of the type of, ship that I ran. I ran a tight ship, guys. And so I had to acknowledge that about myself and then make adjustments. And I think we do pretty well now.
Definitely.
We always say that all of our businesses we have started together, so we've never experienced like having our own business and then like you trying to help or me trying to help, and that may be a different dynamic.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this interview up, guys. I really enjoyed it with you. Where can we find you?
You can find us at the Hartrimony across all platforms. We on TikTok, we on YouTube, Instagram. Twitter is really you. Facebook, and that's at the HARTRIMONY, which is a play on our last name in matrimony. It was our wedding hashtag, and we turned it into our brand. So, in business, yeah.
And your course, man. Give us a brief, just tell us about the course and why someone will benefit from taking it.
Yes. Cleaningbusinessuniversity.com, cleaningbusinessuniversity.com. If you're interested in starting and scaling a 6 or 7 figure cleaning business without cleaning any houses, check that out. We give you step-by-step modules. Tim could tell you. We walk you through from the very beginning, starting your LLC, thinking about your business name, to actually finding your first contractors and finding your first clients and connecting them and taking your profit out of that. So cleaningbusinessuniversity.com. We've been doing this for 5 years. We've been teaching it for 2 years, our students have done over $4 million in revenue. They've opened in 33 plus states,
Mm-hmm.
and that's that.
That was a flex.
Yeah,
Oh man,
absolutely.
We get those stats from the company. I'm like, oh, we have 5 million now.
Yeah.
36 states. Like, so
Social proof.
University.com.
Social proof.
Guys, it's your man Tim Jackson with the No More OGs podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, share. I want to thank the Hartrimony for coming on to the show. Great content. I can't wait to see him again. Until then, you guys take care and be sure to follow us.